Good evening and welcome to Championship Live for our third and final game of this Good Friday coverage for you as we kick off Easter weekend on LFS. Already today, Coventry saw off West Bromwich Albion in that clash for the playoff places. Is West Brom's season done and dusted, or are they still alive? Coventry certainly taking a further grip on a playoff spot. Then, just earlier this evening, Sheffield United ended their three-game losing streak with a big win over struggling Cardiff City. It took them to the very last few seconds to seal the deal and get it done and dusted. But Sheffield United putting pressure on one of the teams we're going to watch next, Leeds United, who head to Oxford United tonight. And an Oxford side looking to take themselves a little further away from the relegation battle, but a Leeds United team that are aiming for the return back to the summit of the Championship table, right to the very tippity top of the Championship table again, and they would go above Burnley on goal difference with a win this evening. It's all to play for here this evening at the Kassam Stadium, and Leeds, one of the best teams in the division, and they want to once again reclaim themselves as Premier League hopefuls. They're just a number of games surely away from that, but tonight will be far from easy for the team that aren't in white tonight, but are nicknamed the Whites. Let's have a look at some match facts. The only previous league meeting between these two sides came this season. Leeds winning 4-0 on the 21st of December at Elland Road. Oxford have won 3 of the last 5 games in the Championship. That's 25% of their league wins this season coming in the last 5 games. And Leeds have lost just 1 of the last 24 Championship matches since November the 30th. And that defeat away to Portsmouth, the only one on that roster. 3 of Leeds' 4 league defeats this season have come away from home: Portsmouth, Blackburn and Millwall, and 10 of Oxford's 12 wins overall this season have come at home. Only 7 sides in the division have won more home games this season than Oxford have at the Kassam Stadium. We're set up for a cracker to end Good Friday and kick off Easter weekend on LFS at the Kassam Stadium under the lights, as Daniel Farker's Leeds well ahead to face Gary Ryott's Oxford United. Let's have a look at the two teams then for this one, starting with the home side Oxford. And Cumming starts in goal, a back 4 of Long, Hellick, Nelson and Bennett. In defence, Cameron Brannigan is the captain alongside Will Volks in midfield, with Alex Matos in the 10. On the right hand side of a front 3 is Placheta. On the left side is Tyler Goodrum, and leading the line is Mark Harris. On the bench for Oxford, Ingram, Lee, Kioso, Rodriguez, El Mazzuni, Mills, Phillips, Romani and Bradshaw. For Daniel Farker's Leeds, looking to head back top of the table where they started the afternoon, Carl Darlow starts in goal. A back 4 of Jaden Bogle, Joe Rodon, Ethan Ampadu the captain and Junior Fairpo in defence. Ilya Gruev and Ayo Tanaka are in midfield, with Brendan Aronson further forward in the 10. Willie Nonto on the right, Manor Solomon on the left, and Joel Piru leading the line. Melier, Gulavogi, Schmidt, Byram Verber, James Ramazani, Bamford and Matteo Joseph are all on the bench. Can Leeds head back top of the table, or can Oxford all but secure safety in their first point of asking? Kick-off at the Kassam Stadium is next. Very good evening. Welcome. If you've joined us all evening, it's been great to have you all day with us here on LFS. It's been a busy day, but a day we have absolutely loved. Wall-to-wall football. And we end the evening with a mouth-watering clash at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford against Leeds. A Leeds team that know what they need to do between now and the end of the season to secure promotion back to the Premier League and back to the promised land. The last time they were promoted to the top league in England, they won the Championship. They will hope they can do the same again and stave off what was a horrible end to last season, with it promised so much They ended up being the highest points tally without achieving automatic promotion with 90 points. And in the end, they fell at the final hurdle in the championship final, in the championship playoff final against Southampton. And they're under a little bit of early pressure here as Oxford win a corner from a defensive header there from Jayden Bogle. So Leeds under some early pressure here. Oxford in their home strip of yellow shirts and navy blue shorts, and Leeds in their away their third strip of that purpley navy colour. As the cross whipped in and the header headed on and cleared away by Jayden Bogle, but I think the flag was up anyway. If we see it here, whipped in and the flick on header there by Long forces Harris into an offside position, so therefore a free kick's given there to Leeds because that affected their defending. And one thing for Leeds tonight is just don't get carried away and don't get too comfortable. This is a very dangerous Oxford side that this season have shown their quality and well capable of championship level football. And Leeds just can't take their eye off the ball for a mere second tonight. And they don't want to slip and fall like they somewhat did at the end of last season, as free kicks won there by Ilya Gruyev, who was brought down in the midfield. Of course, Easter Monday's going to be absolutely thrilling. All three of the top three in action here on LFS. Leeds Stoke is our feature game at 3 o'clock on Easter Monday. That's from Elland Road, and then 5:30 Burnley Sheffield United at Turf Moor as Leeds win a corner here on the right side. Gruyev over to take it for the visitors. We defended a corner. Now they will attack a corner. Gruyev with the whip ball. Not cleared it the first time. The second time it was cleared, but not convincingly by Oxford. Here's Bogle. Back to Rodon. And Ampadu. A lot of leaders in this Leeds team. As the ball fed out to Manor Solomon here. Two centre-backs. The two main leaders, you would say, in this Leeds outfit. And in pressured moments, in big games, in big away games, they're the people you need to carry you over the line, to get you through tough moments. And albeit Leeds have lost just one of the last 24 games, they've dropped points in 3 of their last 4 matches, which you can't really afford to do when you are in the form and in the situation that they are in at the top of the Championship. That's where they want to be come the end of the campaign after 46 games. That's where they want to be. And the win is a must tonight. Not only to really give themselves an extra boost and go back top of the table, but also to kind of create that gap again between them and Sheffield United. Of course, Sheffield United back to winning ways. They closed the gap to 2 points before Leeds played tonight. A little bit of pressure put on them. And it's all about Leeds tonight, just alleviating that pressure and saying it doesn't matter, we move on. And just see how they deal with that tonight. And Oxford, a side that, you know, don't give up much. They don't kind of make it easy. Certainly not. And they're a hard battling team. They're a real good grafting team, are Oxford. They battle for every single little part of the game, and you've got to respect that. Here's Rodon. Not much forward options for Joe Rodon. He does just ping it forward for Joel Piru to kind of try and threaten, but it's easily mopped up there at the back by Benjamin Nelson. There's going to be a throw in here. So Leeds on the far right side as the ball had left the field of play. Lovely little combination play there, but Piru couldn't keep it, although Nonto does well. Flicks it round the right hand side for Aronson. Lovely little skill from Leeds. Bogle. Couldn't quite get firm grip on the ball, but falls to Tanaka. He goes back to Rodon. And Oxford already had their say when it comes to the promotion battlers. Of course, beating Sheffield United a couple of games ago here at the Kassam, winning by a goal to nil. Siriki Dembele with the only goal of that game. For Oxford, they had much less possession, less chances, less XG, much less corners. But what they did was they created a big chance and they were clinical. And also obviously kept Sheffield United out at the other end. So they have had their say before against top opponents, and have stolen the ball away from Tanaka here. Down the left side it comes. Back to the edge of the box, and the shot from Brannigan. Good save by Darlow. Good curling effort by Cameron Brannigan. And Carl Darlow had to make that save down to his left side. And Oxford strike first with an opportunity as Leeds want to respond quickly. Solomon couldn't quite find it through to Brendan Aronson. And that's got the crowd up all of a sudden. Look at the space down the left side here. Rodon does well. Comes across and completely eradicates Tyler Goodrum out of this game on that occasion. See this again. Yeah, Tanaka just tries to beat past his man in Matos, and he just runs right into him, dispossesses him, and good work from Goodrum. Decided to not cross it, find that inside ball to Cameron Brannigan. And Brannigan in space around the edge of the box decided to whip it. Got a real clean strike behind it. And a good strong parry by Carl Darlow to carry it away. Strong goalkeeping. There's Oxford with a long throw here. Punched away by Darlow. Fed back in by Goodrum. Blocked by Nonto. He clears it away. And in the end, tried to feed it through the middle there, Will Volks, to towards Goodrum, just too far ahead of him. It's a good start from Gary Rowett's team, though. Already trying to put pressure on Leeds. From the 19% of the possession they've had so far, 2 shots, 1 on target. Carbon copy of the way, in the end, the Sheffield United game ended up. Misa Life says Darlow was so much better than Meslier. Olila Meslier has had a couple of mistakes, has had a couple of shockers this season, as all keepers do. It happens, but Carl Darlow getting his chance tonight, of course, in the Leeds goal. So that's a poor giveaway by Gruyev, but not punished for it. The poor pass there in the Oxford midfield by Will Volks. And I'm sure Daniel Farker and his team will be a little bit, I mean, they'll be count themselves as lucky that they haven't conceded early. It's a very, very good opportunity. Good save by the keeper, of course, and they'll want to make up for that slightly delayed start to the game from Leeds' point of view. Tanaka. Gruyev. Forcing it through to Fairpo. Couldn't get much further with it, but Gruyev heads it back towards Fairpo. He's in a tussle. Lost that tussle, Junior Fairpo. And in the end, Tanaka has to come across and put it out for the throw to Oxford. Well, this start has certainly got the fans singing inside the Kassam Stadium. Singing and cheering along. Long kick. Bit of head tennis between the two sets of teams. That's a nice takedown down the left-hand side here for Manish Solomon. Does well. Recycles it back to Fairpo. Ampadu. Cross now to Rodon. 10 minutes gone. Leeds under a little bit of early threat, but trying to hold a little bit more possession and in better areas. Try and conjure up some of their own chances in these early moments. Of course, second best defence in the league. Only Burnley have conceded less goals than Leeds this season. 29 conceded in 43 games is an incredibly good record. But Burnley's is insane how little they have conceded this season. It's not reputable whatsoever. I mean, it's not repeatable whatsoever. Reputable is the completely wrong word. It's very reputable, but it's not repeatable, really. I mean, one conceded in, what, every 3 games? I mean, that's mental. Leeds is one every 1.5 games, and that's a very good defensive record. As Matos stealing the ball away from the Leeds midfield again. But good recovery by Ao Tanaka and Jayden Bogle helping each other out there to retrieve the possession. As Tanaka tries to find Piru on the run in behind. Nicely taken down by the Leeds centre forward. Rolls it through for Brendan Aronson, who holds on from the challenge. Nonto through to Aronson at the byline. Still alive as it's thumped away there by the Oxford defender in Nelson. It's good physicality from Ao Tanaka in the midfield, wanting a foul, but he kept the possession, so the referee played on. Our referee this evening is Dean Whitestone. 182 championship matches now under his belt. Very experienced at this level is the referee. As Bogle nips the ball away from a loose pass from Oxford. As Nonto bursts away from his fullback. Willie Nonto charging towards the box. Almost fumbled to the possession there with a loose touch, but still got it. The tricky winger feeds it for his fullback across, and Bogle and cleared away by Oxford. As Leeds try and pen them in, close off the opportunities as Harris gets it out to Plaqueta. Again, it comes back. A little bit more time on the ball now for the Oxford players. Nelson. Long ball forward. Nicely retrieved there by Ampadu. Gruyev. Firpo. Ilya Gruyev. It's been a good response from Leeds, I'd have to say. Despite not having a shot yet, they've certainly offered a little bit more in an attacking sense since that Oxford opportunity in the early moments. Showing a little bit more strength on the ball, a little bit more rhythm. It's better with their possession rather than just aimless passing. There's a little bit more intention about them. And we expected that, you know. It's not going to happen right from the off. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes just to get into rhythm, get into the flow of things. No doubt Oxford will cause them threats, and I'm sure Daniel Farker's well aware of that. Here's a nice break down the left side for Leeds. Ball whipped into the box. Just too far ahead of Piru and Manor Solomon in there. It was Manor Solomon that put the cross in. Apologies. It was Joel Piru and Jayden Bogle, actually, that got himself in the middle. The full-back there, the right back for Leeds. And a cross from Solomon, just too high for the two Leeds players in the middle there. If Leeds win tonight, it will really set us up for a blockbuster Easter Monday. Leeds and Burnley on 91 points at the top, and Sheffield United on 86 in third. Remember, if Burnley beat Sheffield United on Monday, Burnley are automatically promoted. They mathematically can't be overtaken out of the top two. Here's Piru finding the ball across from Firpo. right through the corridor, danger through the 6-yard box as Bogle retrieves. Now Tanaka darts it out to Bogle again. A little bit better from Leeds, more pace in their play. Tanaka. Lots of yellow in front. He goes right round the other end. Gruyev. Back to Rodon and now Ampadu, who are very close together. The two centre backs of Leeds. Very narrow. Bogle. Back to Rodon. Lovely ball by Ampadu out wide to Fairpote. Just keeps the possession moving. Gruyev. Tanaka. Through the lines now for Peru to turn on the ball. And Joel Peru trying to feed one through. He'll get another chance as he gets the ball back. And Solomon couldn't quite take the ball with him on the turn. And it's cleared away by Oxford again. But Leeds trying to penetrate right up the middle. Peru again spinning on a dime. And look at the space in the shots from Brendan Aronson that was saved by Cumming. And then on the follow-up, Junior Fairpote kind of fumbles his footing. And it goes out for a goal kick. But that was beautiful from Leeds again. Joel Peru, seen it literally 30 seconds earlier, in a pocket of space, spins on a dime and feeds it beautifully through for Brendan Aronson, who charges onto the ball, sweetly hits it with his right foot towards the bottom left corner. And a good, strong right hand from the Oxford keeper, Jimmy Cumming, denies Brendan Aronson another goal for Leeds United. Really starting to knock at the door a little bit more now, Leeds, as Oxford win themselves a crucial throw there. Just to alleviate a little bit of pressure. And I have just heard a stat that we've had the most red cards in a single match day of the Championship in a good number of years. In 8 years, I believe it is. We had 6 red cards today. 5 different teams shown a red. Watford, of course, were shown 2 red cards. Here's Plaqueta from distance, but very tame towards Carl Darlow. So far, Leeds absolutely dominant with the possession. 80% of the ball to Oxford's 20. Their XG is actually higher, considering Oxford have had 1 more shot than Leeds. 2 to Leeds' 1. Leeds' XG is much higher. Of course, their only shot was the Brendan Aronson chance, which was a 35% scoring chance. 0.35 XG from that one chance alone. Nice ball down the right side here for Bogle to chase. He gets the better of his man. He can't keep the ball in play there, Bogle. Well marshalled by the Oxford defence. And get a goal kick. Of course, it would be the case on Monday if Leeds were to win tonight, and on Monday that would put them on 94 points, which would put them 8 points clear of Sheffield United before they, of course, play Sheffield United, and that would mean Sheffield United would need to win to keep any sort of hopes of their automatic promotion alive. Otherwise, if Burnley and Leeds both win on Monday, with Leeds winning tonight, of course, they would both be automatically promoted back to the Premier League on Monday afternoon. So that's why it's a blockbuster Easter Monday. If Leeds can win tonight, that would really set us up for a cracker. But so far, they have been pushing that way, Leeds, so far, but their best chance of the game, a good save by Jimmy Cumming. But Oxford can pose a threat on the break. And one man who's looked a little bit of an early threat is Alex Matos for Oxford, but here's a break down the left side for Leeds. Firpo cuts it back to the edge. The shot from Gruyev. Long distance and well stopped. Was hounded there was Alex Matos by Ilya Gruyev, and it's a free kick to Oxford United. Sorry, it was actually Ayo Tanaka that had the shot, and what a block by Will Volks to block that effort. I mean, he threw his body at it. He was not letting that have any sort of chance of going towards his goal. Not in a million years. He was certain he was just going to get that away. Coming with a long kick forward. Bit of head tennis around the Leeds box. And foul on Ethan Ampadu by Alex Matos. Free kick to Leeds. As I said, from Leeds, they've dropped points in 3 of their last 5 games in the Championship. Draw with QPR, draw with Swansea, and draw with Luton. And have bounced off back-to-back wins away at Middlesbrough and home to Preston in the last 2 match days. As I said, 1 defeat in 24 matches. And that was the defeat away at Portsmouth in middle of March. They lost 1-0 away at Portsmouth. Another newly promoted side, Colby Bishop, with the only goal of that game. He got a hat-trick today, Colby Bishop, for Portsmouth, so star man. He was the man, the star, the day against Leeds. The last time the Leeds suffered defeat in the Championship. Here is Goodrum. Has to spin it backwards to his defence. Leeds rushed back into shape once they'd lost the ball. They certainly weren't giving up the space or the opportunity to try and allow Oxford on the counter-attack. Halfway through the first half already. Still goalless here at the Kassam Stadium. Leeds with arguably the best chance, definitely the best chance, sorry, of the game. When Brendan Aronson had his strike well saved by Jamie Cumming. Cameron Brannigan would have had the headline maker if his had a foul in the back of the net. Good save from Carl Darlow to parry it away. So both sides have had opportunities. Both goalkeepers coming up trumps so far in the respect for the respective teams in the early moments. And despite the fact that their only previous Championship meeting was, of course, this season, back in December, they have met 3 times previously in recent years. Their last competitive meeting, other than the reverse fixture this season, was in 2012 when they met in the League Cup back in 2012. Leeds won 3-0 at Elland Road. Here's a chance now for Solomon. Had his shot well charged down by Long for the corner. Sam Long there with a challenge. See this again. It's good work from Leeds through the lines. It's Piru dropping off the front line again and just providing that little bit of assistance, feeding the ball wide to Manor Solomon, and Solomon tried to square it across. Well blocked by Long and out for the Leeds corner. Left hand side. Long and high whip one. Tanaka tries to keep it in play with his header, but that's very difficult to keep in play there from the Japanese international. And there's too much whip on the cross from the corner. Far too much on it. .25 gone. We talked about Leeds' form. Well, Oxford's has been up and down. They've had alternate results in their last 6 games. They haven't had in their last 7 games, they haven't had a repeat result since they lost 3 in a row against Coventry, West Brom and Portsmouth, all between February and March. Since then, they've drew, lost, won, lost, won, lost, won in their last 7 games. So they've been a topsy-turvy run of form for Gary Rowett's side. Last time out at home, they lost 3-1 to QPR. They were 2-0 down at half-time in that one. They got one back through Mills in the second half to cause a little bit of concern, but QPR finished the deal off with Yang Min Hyuk in the 91st minute to wrap it up for 3-1. That was their last home outing. Of course, a memorable one just before that, when Sheffield United came to town and left with absolutely nothing but a red face, really. The Blades, well and truly blunted that night. It was a cert. I was always going to mention it. I was always going to try and come up with some sort of funny pun. Whether it was funny or not, it's for you to decide. Volks, nice little turn. The referee kind of got in the way there of Cameron Brannigan. And I think the referee there just apologising. Yeah, there's nothing really the referee can do. He can't disappear. I get that he may have been in a position you weren't particularly happy with him being in, but I mean, what do you want him to do? Levitate out of the way? I mean, trying his best. It's a bit of a funny moment. Relax. Well, of course, the reverse fixture, while we do have the stoppage and play, the reverse fixture was, in the end, a romping for Leeds. One of the biggest wins of the season. 4-0 win at Elland Road. Dan James, Jayden Bogle, Brendan Aronson and Manor Solomon all got on the score sheet that day. Solomon actually was one of the best players, if not the best player in that game. 2 assists and a goal for Leeds that day. An absolute sensation on the ball. And, you know, Leeds in the end cruised to victory. But they struggled in the first half. They had a 1-goal lead from early, but didn't find their second goal till midway through the second half, and Oxford still kept themselves in the fight against Leeds in that reverse fixture. Their away form this season, Oxford hasn't been well enamouring. Only 2 wins away from home this season, 7 draws, 12 defeats, only 13 points picked up on the road. Only 2 teams actually have had a worse points tally away from home than Oxford. Derby and Plymouth. Portsmouth also have 13, so they're in that low table mix. But in terms of their home form, very mid-table for Oxford, and that's what's kind of balanced them out between being in a relegation battle and not being in a relegation battle, basically. It's their home form. You know, 10 wins at home this season from their 21 games. I mean, that's a very good record for a team in their first season back in the Championship. And, you know, for a newly promoted side, you need to create a real fortress at home, a real kind of nervy place for opponents to come to make it really difficult for opponents to come and win at your stadium. Only 6 teams have come to the Kassam Stadium this season and went away with a victory. So it's clear that it's not an easy place to come to and win if you're an away side, and that's crucial to why Oxford are where they are in the league table. You know, they're not quite out of the water yet in terms of maybe a late scare of relegation, but a draw tonight would put them on 49 points. A win would put them up to 51 and all but mathematically save them. 51 points would put them above Stoke up to 16th, and they would be 8 points clear of Luton in the bottom 3, which would be 1 point away from safety. So guaranteed safety, that is. So, you know, they're in a position where they've got a lot to fight for as well, Oxford, and they want to end their season positively and look towards next season and try and build upon the foundation that they're trying to create this season in the Championship, and certainly the Kazam Stadium, trying to make it one of the fortresses of the Championship. That's a lovely ball over the top by Ampadu, and Solomon's made the run, and that's somehow stolen away by an Oxford defender. I'm trying to see who it was. I think it might have been Ben Nelson. See it again. Beautiful run around the back by Manor Solomon. Fabulous ball by Ethan Ampadu over the top. Pinpoint perfect. And as the ball fizzed across the 6-yard box, the keeper misses it, and it's a fabulous last-ditch challenge by Ben Nelson to put it behind for the corner. Otherwise, Willie Nonto had a tap in at the back post. Corner whipped in. Ooh, flicked on at the near post and took away from Tanaka at the back. As Matos tries to get Oxford out of trouble, but Nonto there to recycle it back for Leeds. Flicked round the corner by Solomon, and cleared away again by Nelson, out for a Leeds throw on the right hand side. What a ball by Ethan Ampadu, I gotta say. Absolutely perfect. And those are the type of passes you can not defend. There's just no defending it. If the run's timed perfect, if the pass is perfect, there's just no defending it. You just have to scramble and see what you come out of, and see if you can force it away for a corner, which they did in that occasion, Oxford. But sometimes you just can't defend things like that. It's pure individual quality. And that's one thing that Gary Rowett really pointed out before in his pre-match interview, was about how they need to do a lot more than just be in the right positions tonight. Here's a nice ball. Bogle across, and the back post. It's fired into the roof of the net by Manor Solomon. He's doing it again against Oxford. He loves scoring against them. He loves destroying the Oxford defence. And that's his 4th goal involvement against them this season. And Leeds United break the deadlock just after a chance was denied. A beautifully threaded through ball down the right side, down the right channel, and Jayden Bogle makes a beautiful run round the back of Goodrum, and he squares it across the 6-yard box, past Brendan Aronson, but fired into the roof of the net by Manor Solomon, and Leeds United take the lead. And just as like Gary Rowett said, sometimes you just can't defend individual quality. However, that was not one of those moments. It was a moment where I would say he would be wanting more of his players defensively. Oxford 0, Leeds United 1. And I got to talk about it, because just as I was talking about what Gary Rowett said about how you can be in the right positions and be concentrating 100% of the time, but sometimes it's not enough against the Leeds side with the individual quality that they possess. And to a point, I would say in that goal, the pass is sheer individual quality, but the lack of covering defending and the poor covering of the defending could be better. You know, Tyler Goodrum gets back, but what he doesn't do is he doesn't try and hound Jayden Bogle. He gives them the time and space to weight that ball perfectly across the box. And when you give a player of quality on the overlap, like Jayden Bogle, time and space on the ball, you will pay the price. And I think that's something they'll not be too happy with. But I would also say it's probably been coming the last 5-10 minutes. Leeds have been the better side, and they've been building that momentum slowly but surely over the last 5 minutes or so, when turning out to starting to create good chances and good goal scoring chances. And they've found their opener, but Oxford have a good free kick opportunity here, and they wanted to take it quickly. The referee's not going to allow that to happen. And Will Volk's arguing with the referee, but clearly the referee says, I'm going to blow the whistle and you can take it. Try to be a bit sneaky there, did Will Volks, and I'll have to take it again. It's Goodrum that's over this set piece for Oxford on the far right hand side. 5 in yellow in and around that defensive line of Leeds. The whistle now goes. Goodrum, right footed delivery towards the box, but the referee's going to not allow any sort of header to come, as he's going to blow the whistle for a foul on a Leeds player. And as it stands, I can show you the table and what it means at the top. If the table's updated, it hasn't updated yet. That's very good. I will let you know in a moment. There we are. The table's updated now. This is the way it stands then. Leeds would be top. If they come away with 3 points tonight, their goal difference would see them back at the summit. A 9 better goal difference than Burnley. And when scoring first under Daniel Farker, they've never lost under his tenureship. 48 games they've scored in first in their games under Daniel Farker. 42 wins, 6 draws. So they know how to hold on to a lead. Quite ironic, it's in the name. But yeah, they know how to hold on to a lead. And when they go in front, they rarely ever throw it away. And they never, under Daniel Farker, have lost a game when scoring first, which is a very, very good sign for the character of Leeds United. It's Brannigan trying to burst through himself there. Not quite finding it. Plaqueta try to get something. And the corner one off Joe Rudon there, out in that right hand side. So a corner to Oxford here on this right hand side. They're fighting back. And I would expect nothing less of this Oxford side. A true warhorse team. Right footed delivery from the corner. Out swinger. Falls sweetly. And it pinballs around the box. And Plaqueta's effort thumped away by Ampadu. Out for a throw in. The out swinging corner caused Leeds a little bit of a problem there. He didn't get the first contact to it, and it ended up a bit pinball in and around the box. See this again. Yeah, it just comes off Brendan Aronson, off his right shoulder, and just falls into a real melee of players. It gets cleared away eventually, but not convincing from that out-swinging corner from Leeds as Carl Darlow comes and commits the long-range effort that went into the air. 6.5 minutes of the first half remain. Leeds taking the opening goal. Manor Solomon, as I said, his 4th goal involvement against Oxford this season. I mentioned the reverse fixture, 1 goal and 2 assists in it. He's already got the opening goal of this one. As Plaqueta tries to chase a long ball there, but just gone out of the confines of the field of play from Sam Long's effort. And it goes out for a Leeds throw. Well, I think since that Brendan Aronson chance a little bit earlier on, Oxford tried their best to kind of level the playing field again and try and get themselves up the field a little bit more, and maybe they took too many risks, left a bit too much space in behind for Leeds, and the ball from Ampadu that found Solomon, who ended up having his effort put behind for a corner, and then the follow-up, it's Rudon, plays a beautiful through ball to Bogle, just that little gaps in behind where Leeds were exploiting with those late runs, and that gave them a little bit of confidence when Oxford just came forward a little bit further and pushed up the field a little bit more. Just open those gaps in behind that really weren't there before. Rudon. And the one thing about that is, you know, you can train a team till you're blue in the face about moments like that, but it's about having that game intelligence to notice when a team is pushing up a little bit more while you're on the field and then make the most of it. As there's a problem here. Ethan Ampadu's gone flying to the floor. Plaqueta was involved. He's right over to check if he's okay. I think they just collided, the two, in going for the ball. And Ampadu, I think, is taking a whack to the face. Or to the head at the very least. See it again. Yeah, Plaqueta on the turn. And the ball just bobbles and Ampadu comes flying in. Yeah, it's just an accidental collision between the two. He doesn't catch him in the face. He catches him around about the chest. But it's accidental between the two players. I think the referee's just going to have a chat with Plaqueta, but it's just about how high his boot was. He's actually going to give him a yellow card. I think that's a little bit harsh for Plaqueta there. And that's he did get a yellow card. I think that was just a little bit accidental. Again, referee's got his rules. Deemed it a high boot. He's given the free kick and given a yellow card. Which of course he's completely in the rights to do. It's in the law. It's in the rules. It's completely up to the referee's discretion, of course. Darlow gets it all the way back. Ampadu, who's quickly back to his feet and is okay to charge away here. Ampadu, lovely ball to Pirou, finding out why to Firpo. Good work from Solomon, but trying to return the ball to him. Gruev dispossesses his own team, and then Firpo, a late challenge in there on Matos, getting Oxford the free kick. Got that in his game, Junior Firpo. He's got so much quality, but he does some daft things at times, and certainly does. He does some daft things. I mean, he spent his time at Barcelona. Did Junior Firpo, of course. That's where Leeds bought him from for £12.9 million in July 2021. Spent 2 years in one of the biggest clubs in the world, Barcelona. He came through at the Real Betis Academy, so Leeds is his one and only foreign club that he's played for. But isn't Spanish, from the Dominican Republic. It's not a nation we often see with footballers, but Junior Firpo, that's where he's from. Not that that's incredibly important information. Nonto, back to Tanaka. Just about gets that through to Ampadu. Leeds maybe trying to push for a second before half-time, but Firpo just couldn't reach the end of Brendan Aronson's pass, and Oxford clear it away a danger with 90 seconds of the first 45 remain. Oxford 0, Leeds 1. And to be fair, unlike, I would say, the Sheffield United game that Oxford had here, what Leeds do possess is that individual brilliance, individual quality that can get them a goal from nothing, and it backs up the possession they have. Sometimes with Sheffield United they have a lot of possession, but they're really struggling to create something from it. And when you sit deep and sit 10 behind the ball against Sheffield United, sometimes they're a little bit like clueless as to what they're actually going to do. No disrespect to Sheffield United at all, it's just the point I would make from the Oxford games in comparison between the two teams is the game that Sheffield United played here at the Kassam. It was a lot more, there was similar themes to this Leeds game, dominating possession, having a lot of shots, getting in the right areas, and dominating the territory. But one thing they didn't do was obviously put the ball in the back of the net and test the goalkeeper enough in the right areas. And Leeds have found practically by themselves in this first half of how to kind of find those little gaps, find those little spaces, and every little intricate detail to just give themselves that little extra advantage. And I would say Leeds are much better on the ball than Sheffield United anyway, so I think they move it quicker. They've got more invention with the way they play, a lot more creativity, I feel. 3 minutes of time added on at the end of this first half. Oxford 0, Leeds United 1. A moment of great quality has the visitors ahead here at the Kassam Stadium on this Good Friday evening. A win would put Leeds back top of the table, ahead of Burnley on goal difference, before two of the top three meet on Easter Monday as Burnley host Sheffield United. Leeds will watch on to maybe see what they can do, where they will be come the end of Monday evening. As I already stated, there is a possibility that by the end of Monday evening we already know which two teams in the Championship will be automatically promoted. There is a scenario in which that becomes the case. And there's a scenario where certainly Burnley can confirm their promotion with a win against Sheffield United on Monday evening. Leeds can do the same if they pick up 2 wins over the Easter weekends. Over a minute to go with the first half, and a first half I'd say that was both very professionally played by Leeds. I think Oxford haven't really done very much wrong at all in this first half. I don't think defensively they've looked weak or out of position or poor or open or loose, any of that. Well, they've given the ball away cheaply there. It's nicely won by Peru. Lovely weighted ball by Nonto, just too far ahead of Brendan Aronson. And it's very good goalkeeping from Jamie Cumming to come charging out and smother the ball. Nonto just tried to feed it round the outside of the fullback, and Aronson making that inside run. It's just too far ahead of the American. And it ends up in the hands of the Oxford goalkeeper. As I was saying, I don't think Oxford have done majorly much wrong in the first half defensively. I just think it's the extra little bit of quality shining through from Leeds in individual moments, and that's what I think the difference is. Sometimes it's just that simple. One team's just got better quality. But what they will take from this first half, Gary Rabbit's team, as the 3 minutes have now surpassed, I think he will still point to the fact that it's only 1 goal. And what Leeds can do to you is take the game away from you in a matter of seconds and completely take the game away. But at half-time at the Kassam Stadium in our final game of Good Friday, it looks like Leeds, at least at half-time, are heading right back to the top of the Championship. But a big second half to come to make sure that's the case heading into the Easter weekend. Half-time at the Kassam Stadium. It's Oxford United 0. Leeds United 1. Welcome back to Championship Live. Half-time at the Kassam Stadium. It's Oxford United 0, Leeds United 1, and Manor Solomon the scorer for Leeds in that first half. But once again, we're seeing another example of a team leading with less shots than their opponent in the first half. And that could sum up the first half in a sense that Oxford had one or two half chances, one or two decent opportunities. Cameron Brannigan's, of course, the first effort of the evening, and obviously the best effort, I would say, from their point of view. But obviously, Leeds getting the only goal of the first half, and I'd say they had the best chance when it was at 0-0. I think Leeds had the best quality chance when Brendan Aronson had that beautiful opportunity right through the middle, and a good save from Jamie Cumming. And I think after that chance, I think Leeds settled down a little bit more. They took more kind of belief in what they were doing a little bit more. I think there was more invention, a bit more quality, a bit more creativity. And I think they worked it out on the field of a way to find, of how to find a way through Oxford in that first half. I think in the first 20 minutes or so, 20-25 minutes, up until that Brendan Aronson chance, they were not aimless. Of course they were. I think they were showing qualities, but I just think they weren't getting in the box enough. They weren't getting near the box enough. They weren't allowing their runners to make as much of an impact as they could. And I think once that Brendan Aronson chance came in, I think it opened up Leeds a little bit more. They kind of relaxed into the game a little bit more and go, well, we've got our first chance. Let's build on it. Let's keep going. And kind of had that to pen them on and spur them on. I mean, the chance that came shortly after that from Leeds, the beautiful ball, absolutely beautiful, by Ethan Ampadu over the top of the defence. Manor Solomon, absolutely perfect with his first touch, fizzed it across the 6-yard box, and the keeper, Jamie Cumming, missed it, but a fantastic challenge by Ben Nelson, because otherwise it would have been a tap-in from Wilfred Nonto at the back post, and he put it out for a corner. And I think, once again, that chance then added a little bit more belief, a little bit more quality to Leeds. And then, soon after, lovely ball by Rodon, split the defence right up the middle, or right through the left inside channel, and a good run round the outside from Jayden Bogle. Squared it across, almost kind of a carbon copy of the opposite one. This time it was a through ball rather than a dink over the top. And again, I don't think it was good enough defending down that side against the fullback. Say it again. Yeah, it's just dragged out of space, and there's just that gap that appears between the three other defenders of Oxford and then the one on his own. And there's that gap, and the ball just fed through that gap. It's a beautiful run by Jayden Bogle. Lovely weighted ball, and Bogle just hits it first time. It's perfectly weighted that he just needs to stride onto the ball and hit it with his right foot, right in step, and it's fizzed right across towards Manor Solomon, who does the rest and roofs it into the net. I mean, absolutely incredible. And, you know, it's good quality from Leeds. I said it whenever that Brendan Aronson chance came, and I said they settled. What I also saw was Oxford pushed a little bit more, and I think they left a little bit more space in between the lines, in between the channels, which allowed for those types of passes. The ball over the top, or the ball in behind, the through ball in behind. So there were opportunities and gaps opening up, and I think that came through the initiative of Leeds to go, well, there's the gap. There's the opportunity, and wait for those moments to come. Be patient for those moments, but also manufacture the game in a way where you can find those passes, where you can work the ball into those areas, and that's where you find the best quality teams, and you become the best team of them all, when you're picking out passes like that, when you've got, one, the quality to do it, but also, two, the temperament and the patience to do it time and time again, and wait for the right moment to do it. Not rush it, not force it, not overplay it. Just do it perfectly, and that's where the best teams come out, is when they find all of those kind of check marks and check up all the boxes and pick everything out, because that's where the best kind of find themselves different from the rest, in a sense. And I think Leeds have got that one individual quality, but also got that game intelligence, as I said in the first half, to manufacture a game and manufacture the area in which the ball moves to find those spaces and to find those passes. And the creativity's there, the quality's there. Everything's there, and it was just waiting for the right moment to do it. It wasn't waiting on anything else but the right moment in time to play that pass, and everything else came together, and it worked out perfectly. It was unlucky that on the first one from Ampadu's ball, that it was a fantastic bit of defending, because usually on those moments that you just can't defend those things. When it's everything links up perfectly for the attacking team, there's just sometimes chances that are indefensible. And there's just opportunities that the best quality teams find, and that brings me back to where Gary Rowett was talking pre-match about you can be in the right positions, you can do the right things, you can be 100% concentrated all of the time, but sometimes Leeds have just got that extra little bit of quality, that extra about individual brilliance that sometimes you just can't do anything about. And I said it, I mean, the first goal I don't think was that to its fullest extent. I think there was beautiful individual quality and amazing things, but I do think they could have defended it better if the back four were a little bit more compact in the fact that there was a player. And I get Goodrum isn't the fullback of natural kind of area, he's the winger, so I can excuse that. But Joe Bennett, I don't know where he went, the left back of Oxford, why he wasn't in his position, and Goodrum had to cover. Goodrum isn't a fullback, so then you're setting yourself up for failure. Players out of position, players not in their natural positions, gaps open up, and it just so happened that that was the right moment for Leeds to play the perfect pass, and it ended up finding a way through. So it's when all those things come together. But again, I would say Gary Rowett would be disappointed with the way they defended that situation, but they would also know that they were a bit lucky actually on the other one, that they didn't concede when it was a similar moment and a similar opportunity. But again, that's the way football goes sometimes, and you know, I would still say Leeds have been by far the better side in the first half. Their quality's been much better. They're better on and off the ball. They've not been off the ball very much, Leeds, but when they have, they've battled, they've won their one-on-ones, they've been good in the duels, aerial and on the ground. So, Jesus, they're doing everything they possibly can, both in and out of possession, Leeds, to dominate Oxford, and I think they're doing a very good job of it so far. And look, people can look at stats and go, well, Leeds have had 74% possession, so they should be winning. But I will bring it back to the Sheffield United game, once again, which Oxford won, despite Sheffield United having over 70% possession. The key point is you can have all the ball you want, but if you don't do anything right with it, you're useless. You're completely useless. Have all of the ball you like, and that harps back to the way modern football is at times. So many teams want to dominate possession and, oh look, we've got 80% of the ball, look, we've got 70% of the ball. Fantastic. But if you can't put the ball in the back of the net and you can't create chances from it, then it's practically useless, and you may as well leave the ball to the opponent because you're useless with it. But, and I said it, this is where Leeds put themselves out. They are good with the ball. They've got the creativity with the ball. Sometimes, and I think part of the game actually earlier on that we watched against Cardiff, Sheffield United had a lot of the ball, but at times they were struggling to link it all together. They were struggling to make it count and make it come together, all linked together to make a perfect goal, to make something of great quality. And, I mean, Gus Hammer, fabulous in the way that he created it. And that's the individual quality that Sheffield United have. So there is individual quality there, but sometimes I just think teams with a lot of useless possession are just really boring to watch. And that's just the God's honest truth. But I think Leeds in that first half have done everything possible to take the lead, and they have the lead, and that's fully deserved. But Oxford will know they're still very much in the game, and they create one big chance like they did against Sheffield United, and they can really cause Leeds a problem. And I wouldn't put it past them. It's a big second half to come. Certainly indeed for the promotion race. But as it stands, if I can show you the table again, I will show you this table all night long. Leeds United still would lead the way at the top of the championship table with a win tonight on goal difference. That's how tight it is at the top of the championship table. Right, second half between Leeds and Oxford at the Kassam Stadium, where Leeds are 1-0 up at the break, is on the way next. Do stay with us. Half-time at the Kassam Stadium, Oxford 0, Leeds United 1. Second half on the way in just a moment from our final game of Good Friday. This is the full set of results that we've seen all afternoon. Look at that one between Norwich and Portsmouth, the real standout. 8-goal thriller at Carrow Road. A great day on Good Friday. But lots more football to come over the Easter weekend, including a double-header of Premier League action on Easter Sunday. That is so looking forward to that. Ipswich against Arsenal is Easter Sunday at 2 o'clock here in LFS. As Arsenal, if they lose to Ipswich, there's a chance Liverpool can be crowned champions this weekend. But Arsenal win, and Liverpool will have to wait at least a week more. Now, if Arsenal do lose, it will be all eyes on Liverpool at Leicester, because if Liverpool win and Arsenal lose, Liverpool will be crowned champions of the Premier League on Easter Sunday. That game at the King Power is at 4:30 on Easter Sunday. Right, we should be coming out for the second half, the two sets of teams. A little bit of a rondo warm-up going on there for Leeds and their subs. And they should have some substitutes coming on, obviously, in the second half, we would expect. I mean, every team should make subs, but yeah, not just yet, I don't think. Daniel Farker's eyeing up the substitutes, because I don't think his team have played bad in the first half, played particularly well, but they might need the bench, because there's some good quality on that bench. Dan James, Patrick Bamford, Matteo Joseph, Ramazani, of course, and one man, Sam Byram. Now, I want to point this out just before the second half gets underway. I was going to mention it earlier, but I didn't get the chance to. Sam Byram was actually involved in that League Cup win for Leeds against Oxford back in 2012. He played in that second round tie, and he scored in that second round tie, did Sam Byram. He scored the second goal for Leeds in a 3-0 win against Oxford in August 2012 in the second round of the Carabao Cup, or the League Cup, that season. So there you go. There's a little story for you. And he's on the bench tonight, the 31-year-old, and possibly could make an appearance against the club he scored against a good 13 years ago, almost. Incredible that is. 18 at the time, Sam Byram. Gavin in the chat says, is that an Irish accent? Yes, from Belfast, of course. From Belfast. Why do I use a Scottish accent to say that? Anyway, moving on. Second half. They certainly had us waiting. That's why I was rambling for a little bit there. Oxford against Leeds. Leeds 1 up at half-time. Let's see what happens after 90 minutes. And what has been a very long day here on LFS, and a day that I have thoroughly enjoyed so far. So one more half of football to end the wonderful coverage on Good Friday here in LFS. And if you missed any of it, we should be doing a highlights package for you of Good Friday on LFS, which will give you the highlights of all the goals of the afternoon that we have reacted to. So there's been some good games, some good results today in the Championship, and we should have a highlights package releasing either tonight or tomorrow at some point for you to look back on if you missed any of the action. But we've a whole second half still to come with more action, hopefully, on the cards. No changes at half-time, by the way. There was a camera angle of all the Leeds players, Leeds substitutes warming up, but none of them have made way, and Oxford have not gone to their bench at the break either. So all 22 that went in have come right back out again 15 minutes later. There's a little bit of a shove in the back of there of Plaqueta from Fairpool gets Oxford a free kick. So they try and find down the right side for Alex Matos, but run out of room there, Matos. I have to say, Alex Matos has looked the real threat for Oxford. If any of their players have looked a threat against Leeds, it is him. So far, he is causing a little bit of a physical problem in those areas when he can get involved, and he will be the man, I would feel, if anybody is going to get Oxford back in this game. I think Alex Matos might be one of those to try and help Oxford back into this match. There was a view of a couple of fans, a Leeds fan standing on some wooden board on a plinth somewhere out, like on the open stand end. Of course, there is an open car park at one end of the stadium. The Kassam Stadium is not fully surrounded by stands. The far left-hand side is a car park. So, a couple trying to get a sneaky view from the car park. Some Leeds fans of their side playing tonight. I mean, I love the dedication and the commitment to the cause. There's Ampadu clearing long there, out for a throw-in to Oxford. Caught in a little bit of an awkward position there. Was the Leeds captain. And an Oxford long throw might be on the cards here from Will Volks. Let's see what he can try and conjure up here then. Long throw from Volks. Headed away by Rodon. Fed back wide by Goodrum. Just about gets it on to Volks, who whips it into the box. Bouncing ball, but caught by Carl Darlow. And the referee was playing the advantage there for Oxford for a possible foul. Nonto had ended on the ground. I don't know what's happened on that far side off the ball. I think Nonto and Goodrum just collided with each other on that far side. The referee was just saying play on when Darlow caught the ball, and then he had to stop it as both players were down. I mean, just collided with each other there. Willie Nonto's back to his feet. He was the one that was down. Goodrum was right back to his feet right away, but referee's just going to play a drop ball here to Carl Darlow. Come on, Oxford. Rings around the Kassam Stadium. Looking to conjure up something of their side. Matos here. And a little bit of space. Junior Fairpool absolutely sends it to the moon there, the ball. And gets caught for his troubles by Alex Matos. The referee's just going to have a chat here with Alex Matos, and Fairpool did well, convincingly thumped the ball clear. Well, I gotta say, with Leeds United, they're in a much better position after 42 matches this season than they have in their last 2 seasons in the Championship. Last season they were on 87 points after 42 games, 88 points. Obviously, they start tonight on after 42 matches. They could break the points tally they achieved at the end of last season with a win tonight. They would go on to 91 points. They finished last season, of course, going into the playoffs on 90 points, did Leeds. So they could break that tonight. But they're 7 points, which is more interesting. 7 points better off starting tonight than they were in the season they won the championship back in 2019-20. 7 points better off starting the fixture tonight, and conceded so many more goals, or scored so many more goals, Jesus, and conceded a number less as well. So overall, it's crazy how things turn out, that Leeds' numbers are all better than the season they won the league, and they're just ahead of Burnley with a win tonight. That's really quite major of how competitive the top of the field is in the Championship this season. Incredible. There's a little bit of a tug there by Plaqueta. Solomon under a bit of pressure in his own defensive third, but Leeds do well to play out of that with Tanaka, and Peru getting rid of the ball quickly as he knew there was a challenge coming. And Bogle's got space down the right here. 4-on-4 for Leeds. Bogle, lovely threaded through to Brendan Aronson, who couldn't reach it, but Bogle, oh, he puts it wide. As good a chance as you would probably want from that position. It starts with Bogle, he plays it off to Brendan Aronson, who couldn't carry the ball with him, and it just comes loose at the right second for Bogle. And you have to try and finish from that position. Central, around about the edge of the box. As clean as opportunity as you probably would want. And he right foot puts it just wide of the left post. Wow. One thing that Leeds will also believe in is that they love to score more goals in the second half than the first half. This season they've scored 10 more goals in the second half compared to the first half, and conceded 7 less between the two halves overall. So Leeds are a team that this season grow into the game much more, and their numbers are better overall from first to second half. 36 goals scored in the first, 46 scored in the second. No, that's not, of course, including tonight's game. So it'll be 37 and 46, but still better in the first and second halves. It's actually quite intriguing, actually. 22 of Leeds' goals this season. So they've scored 82. 22 of them have come in the final 15 minutes of games this season. 75th minute or 76th minute or later in a game, which is very, very interesting. They always peak late in a match, the Leeds, and they have a number of late winners. I mean, commentators are now renaming it Daniel Farker time, the additional time, because they could score so many late goals to Leeds, especially in added time, and they are the team that just find the way. No matter what position they find themselves in, they always find a way of scoring a late goal somehow. It's just incredible how they do it. A long throw from Oxford there into the box. Harris couldn't get on the end of it. Cleared away by Tanaka. Rodon out wide to Bogle. Inside it comes to Brendan Aronson, who's been well marshalled off the ball. It's good work from the Oxford midfield there. It's interesting tonight as well. Leeds have actually conceded the opening goal away from home more times than they've scored the opening goal this season. 7 times in 21 away games they've scored the opening goal. 11 times they've conceded the opening goal. Of course, scored the opening goal tonight, obviously. as they lead by a goal to nil and have led at the first at half time in an away game just 6 times this season. It's been one of those starts to the half where Oxford have tried to apply something, offer a little bit more pressure, take a bit more pressure to Leeds, and Leeds have had just to be professional on the ball, not do anything too drastic, too creative, too overly exuberant, and just make sure they keep the ball and keep the possession. And that's also game intelligence in and of itself, not to take too many risks when the game and the moment of the game is with the opponent, in a sense, where they're having a little bit better of it, they're having a good spell, and I think it's game intelligence just to go, let's just settle, let's just take stock for now, not throw away something and take risks that we don't need to take. As Gruyev down the left for Firpo. Back inside it comes to Tanaka. Nice vertical ball through the line to find Brendan Aronson and laid off to Firpo, who couldn't quite carry the ball with him again. Great challenge by the Oxford team. And Harris trying to lay off. The ball played into him, but well marshalled out of play past Plaqueta for a Leeds throw. I think the benches might have a say in how this game goes tonight. Leeds do have quality off the bench. Dan James, who should come into good form for Leeds in the last number of games. Scored in his last 2 appearances. The winner against Middlesbrough and the goal that ultimately got them a draw against Luton. He does have 12 goals this campaign for Leeds. Does Dan James. There was actually a moment in time where he was scoring or assisting so often, it was unreal. As there's going to be a yellow card coming out here for Will Volks for a little late challenge on Brendan Aronson. And he's going to get himself a yellow card. Really trying to target Brendan Aronson tonight are Oxford. I've seen that a lot of times when Aronson gets the ball. They're just trying to either dispossess him or foul him or just get him off the ball as quickly as possible. And Volks gets himself a yellow card for that cynical challenge. A little tap, little nick on Aronson, but it was a little bit cynical. Just not necessary, really. Gruyev. So we head towards the hour mark here at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford 0, Leeds 1. Peru, lovely little turn. Finding Brendan Aronson. Out wide it goes to Bogle. Bogle feeds it through. Aronson across. Chips it. Tries to actually beat the keeper. And Jamie Cumming gets 2 firm hands to it. Just too close to the keeper in the end from Aronson. A little bit better from Leeds. Oh, he actually doesn't mean that, Brendan Aronson. He slightly slips as he connects with the ball and just takes it towards Cumming as Oxford give it away cheaply. Upended this time was Brendan Aronson. It's going to be another yellow card, this time to Michael Hellick. And it's just again on Brendan Aronson. I think Daniel Farker's actually asking for the referee to play advantage there and allow the game to continue because Leeds had the possession. See it again, Brendan Aronson, and I think Nonto had the ball before the referee blew the whistle, and Leeds wanted the advantage. And I can see why. Aronson got the ball off before he was challenged, so it didn't stop the movement of the ball, and Leeds wanted the advantage, but the referee a little bit trigger happy there. Whistled right away. And a free kick and a yellow card for Leeds. Or a yellow card for Hellick. A free kick for Leeds, about 27 yards out. Fairly central. So it's Gruyev and Tanaka that's over it. This has got to be a clean strike. Good up and down. Strong, tall wall for Oxford. It's Gruyev or Tanaka. The whistle's gone. Ilya Gruyev! Straight down the throat of Jamie Cumming. He got it round the wall. He just couldn't get it anywhere near threatening the keeper as he makes an awfully late challenge there. And he's going to get himself a yellow card for his troubles, but he was nowhere near the ball on the cover there. He comes flying in. Thought he was going to get it and absolutely upends Alex Matos. Nowhere near it there whatsoever, and it's certainly a yellow card for Ilya Gruyev. Game's just been a little bit more even in the second half, I'd have to say. So far, anyway. Volks with a long kick. Pirou to clear it away. Bennett to thump forward. But it will bounce all the way out the other end for a Leeds goal kick. It's Gary Rowett in conversation with his assistant there and trying to figure out what they can do to try and test Leeds between now and the end of the game. Try and take something out of this match. Bogle will take this throw in. Tanaka. Bogle does well. Under a challenge and another challenge. Runs into the Oxford player, but given away to Tanaka now. And Leeds want to try and break here. Tanaka spinning it towards Solomon. He does well to control it and keeps it in play. Manor Solomon steps onto his right foot. Wants to curl one. Cleared away. Gruyev trying to sustain the pressure. Leeds do. Fairpo. He will hit one. And that was just sailing over the bar. It was worth a hit. And it certainly had Jamie Cumming raising his hands. But in the end, just about sailing over the bar for a goal kick. It looks like Gary Rowett's going to make a change here. It's going to be Ole Romani. And Greg Lee is also going to come on. So Lee and Romani, I believe, are coming on here for Oxford. Just over 25 to go. It is indeed. So coming off then for Oxford is going to see Bennett. Joe Bennett's coming off, as is Mark Harris. So Bennett and Harris off, and Lee and Romani on. Ola Romani, the Indonesian international. Again, another nationality we don't often see. Patrick Kluivert watching on in the crowd there. He is the, of course, the manager of the Indonesian national team is Patrick Kluivert since January. So here to watch one of his players, Ole Romani. And that's nice to see. Patrick Kluivert at the Kassam Stadium. There we are. Anything's possible in football. Through into the box here. This is a nice little break for Willie Nonto to switch a ball out to Solomon. A little bit of space here for Leeds. They can get bodies towards the box. Solomon lays it back to Nonto on the edge, who will hit one. But it just curls away from goal at the last second. He got the height, he got the power. It just lacked the accuracy in the end from Willie Nonto. It was arrowing towards that top corner, but it just curled away at the last second. It's more than capable of it, Willie Nonto. I don't know, many times today I've dropped this pen. I really don't. As I was saying, he's certainly capable of it, Willie Nonto, finishing from those sorts of areas. And the 21-year-old 6 championship goals this season. Last scored in the 2-2 draw with Swansea at Elland Road. 3 games now without a goal, but before that it was a good number of games in the championship without a goal. He actually last scored before that at the start of February when the 7-0 victory over Cardiff for Leeds at Elland Road. So a bit part with his goals recently. Manor Solomon at the moment would have the goal that would see Leeds heading back top of the championship. Be his 2nd successive goal for Leeds, and his 3rd game in a row that he would have at least a goal involvement. Got the assist for the winner against Middlesbrough, and got a goal and an assist last time out against Preston. So he's involved in all of the last 4 goals that Leeds have scored now in their last 3 games. Gary Rowett's gone to the bench as Daniel Farker eyeing up a couple of changes, or 1 or 2, just to reinvigorate the attack of Leeds. It's not really come alive in the second half as much as the first. As goodness me, that was far from convincing from Carl Darlow. What was that all about? See this again. I said Matos could be the threat, and Darlow gets a little bit worried when Matos was charging towards him. And it's a goal kick, but Carl Darlow did not cover himself in glory there, the Leeds goalkeeper. And he's looked strong and confident all night, but all it takes is one moment of a little bit of madness to unsettle you. And with 20 minutes to go here, that's all Oxford need. And they're still very much in this game, or Oxford United. I don't know how many times I've said that today, whether it be West Brom, whether it be Cardiff, or now Oxford. There's Volks with a long throw again. Up and away by Rodon. Got first contact. Kept alive by Brannigan. Has to turn backwards though to Long. Round the corner, round to Brannigan again. Lifting one into the box and headed away. And Nonto clears further for Leeds United. I think they just need a little bit of an injection of energy, Leeds. Just get them up the field a little bit more. I wouldn't say they're quite a little bit loose, but I would say they're kind of needing a little bit of reinforcement, is what I would say. Because once Oxford have brought some reinforcements, maybe reinvigorated them a little bit in this game in the last couple of minutes, and I think if I'm Daniel Farker, I would be looking to counteract that as quickly as I possibly could. Gruyev to Ampadu, across to Rodon, all the way back across to Ilya Gruyev, and down the line now to Manor Solomon. Infield to Tanaka. Decent passing from Leeds. I think that will be one of those that will help them over the line as well for Leeds United. Just keep their passes moving. And Bogle down this right side here, up against Goodrum. He's not giving him much room this time, after he gave him enough room in the first goal, but he's won a corner out of it, did Jaden Bogle. You'll give him space, he'll punish it. You get right up against him, he'll win a corner off you. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, really. And Jaden Bogle's got that quality. As Leeds are over to take this corner. They're 4th of the game, and both their centre-backs, Ampadu and Rodon, are up to try and add their threats. Left-footed delivery into the box. Up in the air it goes, still alive, is punched away by Cumming. Aronson feeds it back in, looping away again. Aronson back in again. Good touch by Tanaka, rolls it back to Solomon, but the flag's gone up against Ayo Tanaka there. coming back from an offside position. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That'll be greatly appreciated. We thank each and every one of you who's watched it today. The coverage, whether it be one of the streams, two of the streams, all of the streams, or you've just tuned in the last couple of minutes. Whatever it may be, thank you so much. It's great to have you all with us, and it's great to have football to enjoy over the Easter period, and we've got more coming your way over the weekend. A little bit of a break tomorrow, a little bit of a rest and recuperation tomorrow, and then we're right back on Sunday, a double header of Premier League action, starting with a trip to Portman Road as Ipswich host Arsenal. Might be the last time we see Ipswich, or I watch Ipswich as a Premier League side this season, as they're eyeing down a relegation back to the Championship. Might be facing Oxford next season. That's Easter Sunday, 2 o'clock. They host Arsenal, followed by Leicester, Liverpool at 4:30 on Sunday. And it could be the weekend Liverpool could be crowned champions of the Premier League if results go their way. Here's Peru dropping deeper. Gruyev. It looked like Leeds were readying changes in a moment as the ball into the box. Headed away, and Nonto couldn't get anywhere near it as Bogle trying to apply the press, but he gets beaten there to it. It's good work from Brannigan to spin on the ball and get Oxford to try and break forward with Long here down the right side. Lays it into Plaqueta, but he's completely isolated there and surrounded by 4 in navy blue for Leeds. He just retrieved the possession once again. If my eyesight isn't lying to me, it looked like Patrick Bamford and Dan James were the two that were getting ready, at least the two that were getting ready for Leeds on the bench. So some attacking reinforcements for Daniel Farker. I expect to see in the next few minutes. Certainly not short of goals in their team. Leeds, Nonto, Aronson, Solomon, Peru, all starting tonight. Peru, their leading scorer of the season, Championship leading goal scorer. Here's Brendan Aronson, lays it off to Nonto, has to roll it back to Tanaka. And then they've got the quality on the bench as well, with the likes of Bamford and Josephs and obviously Dan James. No shortage of attackers that can get you a goal to Leeds United. In a minute they don't need a goal. A second goal would be pretty nice for them. Just to, like Sheffield United earlier, just settle any relaying doubts or nerves that may be there, that may lurk in the darkness. And any hopes really for Oxford to kind of get back into this game. Take a point as Bogle breaks away, rolls it through for Brendan Aronson at the byline, rolls it back for Bogle, whose shot was charged down. He gets another chance. Bogle again, deflected all the way through, and it's all gone out and behind for, I think it will be a corner. Yeah, Brendan Aronson and Bogle there, beautiful link up. Bogle drives into the box, has his shot charged down the first time, and bounces back to Jayden Bogle, and he gets another opportunity to hit it, and the deflection wobbles it away out for the corner as Patrick Bamford and Dan James are coming on, and Joel Peru and Wilfred Nonto are going to be coming off. So Patrick Bamford will play through the middle, and I think Dan James will go to the right hand side where Nonto was playing. So a double substitution for Leeds, and certainly the depth of quality in their squad is evident in that sense, with the attacking options they can bring off the bench. Some fresh legs to score a goal. 15 minutes remain here at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford 0, Leeds 1. Leeds have a corner on this left hand side. As Manor Solomon is over it, the Leeds goal scorer, but someone's taken a tumble. Patrick Bamford is only on the field, along with the Leeds captain Ethan Ampadu's coming over as well, but both captains dragged themselves over there, Ampadu and Brannigan. Goodrum got back to his feet. Let's see what happened there. I mean, what's this? They're both battling. They're both tugging each other. I mean, get a grip. And then Goodman just throws himself to the ground. I mean, come on now. There's just no time for that shit. I've got no time for that play acting rubbish. Just get on with the game, like. What's wrong now? Oh, well, there is a pause. Something's happening behind the goal at the other end of the field, so I'm not too sure what this is all about. There is a stoppage in play, so I'm not too sure what more information there is, but there is an incident at the other, behind the goal at the other end of the stadium, so the cameras are not panning out to show a wide angle, so I'm guessing it's not something that was happening, but they've seemingly dealt with it because we're going to play now. Very interesting. I would love to get more information on that. I have none for you. Manor Solomon to deliver this corner, right-footed, all the way through. Now James will look to pick it up on the far right side. His first involvement for Leeds tonight. Up against Matos, and just lost his footing a little bit there. And a heavy touch put it out for a goal kick. I think Gary Rowett's going to make a number of changes for Oxford in a few minutes. A long kick by Cumming. Bouncing around, the flick on there by Matos is just ushered out by Joe Rodon, who I think is going to try and figure out what's happening back there. Whatever is going on, the fans are worried about something behind that goal. I'm not too sure what, but the players seem seemingly concerned, and as do the fans behind that goal. I'm not too sure what's going on. That's now the second time that something's been alerted in that area of the field, in that area of the stadium. I have no idea what's going on, but let's hope all is okay as Oxford make this double substitution. So Plaqueta is one of those who has come off, and the second substitution, you can see Alex Matos, I think, is coming off as well. He is. So Matos and Plaqueta off, and Mills and Bradshaw are on. Stanley Mills and Tom Bradshaw are on for Oxford. And I would like to hint that Tom Bradshaw, I think Gary Rowett had managed before, I think when he was at Millwall, if I'm not mistaken. Oxford bought Tom Bradshaw from Millwall in January, and Gary Rowett was definitely the Millwall boss before. He was. I would say that would not be a coincidence. There's continually have a stoppage here again. Something is going on in somewhere in the stadium. So while that has happened, and I've still no information for you, I know something's going on, but I don't know what is going on. Anyway, as I mentioned, double header of Premier League action for you on Sunday. Ipswich Arsenal followed by Leicester Liverpool is on Sunday, but then Easter Monday, rounding off Easter weekend as we're back on the way now, Leeds take on Stoke at 3 o'clock on Monday, followed by a 5:30 kickoff between Burnley and Sheffield United at 5:30 in the Championship on Easter Monday, followed by a Premier League finish on Easter Monday. Tottenham hosting Champions League chasing Nottingham Forest on Monday nights. So lots to look forward to. Another triple header of action on Monday for you to round off Easter weekends. When you get underway, we're only underway. So we are this Easter weekend here in LFS. Lots more to come. And we look forward to you watching it with us and enjoying it with us. The unpredictability of it makes it ever so exciting. 8 minutes to go here at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford 0, Leeds 1. As Bamford gets a little bit too handsy. And another foul given against the Leeds number 9. Hellick's ball was booted out of play by Ethan Ampadu for a Oxford throw down the left side. Long throw into the box again. Away by Bamford this time. Fizz back in by Volks. Cleared away by Gruev. Brannigan to keep it alive. Swings it out to the left side. Down by Volks. Can't find a way through as Dan James gets something to that, but Leeds couldn't keep the ball. Here's Brannigan. Fizzes it into the box. Away by Rodon. Brought down on the left side by Oxford, but Rodon intercepting, and Dan James now breaking forward to Rodon again. He continues down that right hand side and is brought down for a free kick to Leeds United around about the halfway line. Bit strange that Dan James gave the ball to Joe Rodon, the centre back, to charge down the right channel. Thought that was a bit weird, but when it worked out, they got a free kick out of it. Got themselves up the field, but little bit strange. Not what you would expect between a centre-back and a winger. That sort of combination, but there we are. Needs must, really. Be a big day for the top two. For the top three, really. If Leeds can see this one out, all of the top three would have won today. And all one step closer to their ultimate target. But the benefit will stand in Burnley and Leeds, who occupy the top two spots. And will occupy the top two spots right through the weekends, at least until Monday, if things don't go each other's way. Sheffield United need a little bit of a mini hiccup from one of these two to the end of the season if they're going to sneak a place after their poor run of form in the last number of games prior to this afternoon. Well, it's certainly intriguing for Monday. One to look forward to. As I mentioned earlier on, Leeds love to score late. More than any other side in the Championship. Last 22 goals in the last 15 minutes of games, or 76 minutes plus. Can they get a second here in these final few minutes to round off any late hopes for Oxford to steal a point? Oh. And that's not something welcomed by Leeds fans. Manor Solomon indicating he wants to be subbed here. He's gone down. And that's not a great sign whatsoever for Leeds United. It looks like Isaac Schmidt will be the one coming on, the 25-year-old Swiss. 25-year-old Swede. Sweden is Swede. Swiss, yeah, Swiss is the right word. Well, he's had 10 appearances in the Championship this season. Isaac Schmidt has come on in each of the last 3 games for Leeds United. Off the bench, Preston, Middlesbrough and Luton. And he's going to come on for the 4th successive time for Leeds, replacing Manor Solomon, for the final few minutes or so. Guessing Manor Solomon felt something, and he just being a bit precautionary. There, the man that at the moment, his goal would see Leeds United head back top of the Championship at the end of Good Friday. What a Good Friday feeling Leeds will have if they do end the night top of the Championship table. Good takedown by Schmidt there. Lovely little ball through to Brendan Aronson. He tried to squeeze in Bamford, as Firpo does well to win it back in the box here. Firpo rolls it back. No one there. But they've given it away cheaply here. Tanaka from distance. Hits the inside of the post tonight. That was inches away from a rocket from Ayo Tanaka. Gets it from the half clearance. And a really strong right-footed strike. Bounces up in front of Jimmy Cumming, who might get a slight nick to it. And it bounces off the inside of the post and away again. Mere inches, millimetres away from a 2-goal lead were Leeds United. James now. Not seen very much of the substitutes of Leeds since coming on. Tanaka beating the loose ball again. Aronson tussling and losing that tussle, but he's going to get the foul for being pulled there by Will Volks, who incessantly disagrees with the referee's decision. And I get he's trying to win the ball, but he's just got hold of Brendan Aronson there. It's quite obvious. They've done it all night, the Oxford players. As Goodrum's going to make way here for Oxford, their 5th and final change, and he's going to be replaced by Idris El Mazouni for the final number of minutes. And a bit of paper joining the field from Idris El Mazouni. That's gone right into the hands of Will Volks. Whatever that information is, he's reading a paragraph there, it seems. Free kick taken quickly by Leeds on the right side here with Bogle. Turns back with it to Ampadu. About a minute or so of the 90 minutes to go. See how long will be added on. Bogle, Schmid try to go one-on-one with a run against Sam Long, but overhit his pass, or overhit his touch, sorry there, Isaac Schmid. Long throw by Long. Trying to intercept it was Firpo. Gruev gets it away. Bamford with a little bit of a heavy touch, but he does well to hold on to the ball and ends up getting the free kick from El Mazouni, who's not only on the field in the last couple of seconds or so. Seven added minutes. 7 minutes to be added on at the end of the 90 here at the Kassam Stadium. Leeds 1-0 up against Oxford, and they're going to get a free kick there. El Mazouni again with another foul. Brendan Aronson with the free kick one there. He just shoved in the back there, really. I would love to know how many times Brendan Aronson's been fouled tonight. I would say it's 6 or 7. Because he's been fouled a good number of times. Stats say 4, but it has to be more than that. It's gotta be. Gruev tries to squeeze the through ball to Aronson. Cleared away by Oxford. Only as far as a throw in here in their own half for Leeds. Firpo, long throw into the box, or towards the box, apologies. Bamford getting his head to it. Nice intricate play. Schmid over the top. Firpo's made the run. Couldn't quite get the ball across. Good block in there by Halick. And cleared away Oh, and that's far from convincing defending. And Leeds might be caught out here. Rodon committed and won the challenge. And will get Leeds the throw in. That's incredible last-ditch defending from Joe Rodon. He needed to do it. Leeds were caught out a little bit there. It bounced off the back of his foot. And on the spin, they try to force it through for a chance. And it's a fabulous, fabulous last-ditch clearance from Joe Rodon, who celebrates that clearance and throw-in being given to Leeds like he scored a goal. That's what it means. As Jayden Bogle's going to get a yellow card here for time wasting. And on the throw-in. 12th yellow card of the season for Jayden Bogle. Certainly not, no stranger to the referee's book this season. Rodon again committed. Winning the ball confidently. Bamford facing his own goal. Struggling to hold on to it. And it's given away cheaply here. Bodies up the field. Bradshaw trying to break free to shoot. Great block there by Gruev. Oxford trying to conjure up some late drama here. Deep whip ball into the box. The header. And it's a cross goal again and over the bar by Helic. And Romani as well was in there too. Leeds were a little bit at sea there. Oxford were running riot. Leeds were just passengers to what was happening. And then, luckily for Leeds, the quality wasn't there in the end. But Oxford trying to cause a late scare for what would be the league leaders if the scoreline stayed as it is. And I think Daniel Farker's just going to make another change here. I would say this will be their 5th and final change. No, it'll be their 4th change. Apologies about that. So they will make that change in a moment. Just a bit of tactical information, but it's merely nothing at this point. There's 3 minutes left. Here's Schmid. Back to Fairpo. Pokes it back to Ampadu, who sends it flying to absolutely no one there in that far right hand side. That was a wasteful ball by the Leeds captain. And the change is coming. And Joshua Gilavogi is coming on. And he's going to replace Brendan Aronson. So Brendan Aronson off. Joshua Gilavogi is coming on. And this will surely just be to eke out as many seconds as possible for Leeds. And use all the tricks in the book to try. Just to try and waste as much time as possible. And get this result over the line. Whatever which way it comes, all that would matter to Leeds is that they get the 3 points and get out of here. And head back to the top of the championship. Said that at the start of the night. I said it before kickoff, and that rings true so honestly and so relevantly at this late stage. It's all about getting the result. The business end of the season, doesn't matter how you do it, just get the result, and that's all that matters. The referee was not going to blow the whistle there, which the Oxford fans were not particularly happy. They felt there was a foul around about the edge of the Leeds box there, given away by the substitute Gilavogi. And the referee sees nothing, and the official's actually given a free kick here down the right side against El Mazouni on Patrick Bamford, I believe. Yeah, Bamford spins away from Nelson, and the touch comes away from El Mazouni. And the assistant on that side, who was literally right on top of the challenge, waves his flag. And a free kick given to Leeds. Last minute of the 7 added. Leeds are in no hurry to get the ball forward. They've actually hooped it forward and it's gone out for a goal kick. Maybe one last gasp chance for Oxford. Less than a minute remains. Swansea did it a number of weeks ago to deny Leeds a win. Can Oxford follow suit on their home turf? Long deep ball into the box. Bodies flying everywhere. Oxford keep it long, trying to deliver to the box. Cut back to Volks, who will whip it in. Headed away by Gilavogi and followed away by Joe Rodon. Time is surely of the essence for Oxford. One maybe last hoping chance. Lee. Brannigan to deliver. One last opportunity. And the header from Will Volks is well wide of the target. Here comes flying in at the last second. And the diving header goes well wide of the goal. And that might have been that. That should be that. As the rain pours down now under the lights in Oxford. Leeds might be heading back up to Yorkshire. Proud as Punch, happy as Larry, whatever you want to call it. Chuffed to bits, as a good Yorkshire phrase would be. Long kick by Darlow. Whistle not gone yet from the referees. Clock's maybe stopped. His watch is maybe stopped here because we played into the 89th minute of 7 added minutes, so we're well over a minute over the 7 added. Oh, but there's the final whistle. It finally comes. Oxford beaten narrowly in the end, but it doesn't matter when you concern Leeds United. All that matters for them is Manor Solomon's wonderful effort into the roof of the Oxford net in the first half was enough to put Leeds back top of the Championship table. It's advantage Leeds heading into Easter Monday, knowing they've got a home tie against Stoke in a game they should win, and they should put real opportunity in the way that if Burnley beat Sheffield United on Monday evening, Leeds will be promoted back to the Premier League, something they couldn't get over the line last season and are now just surely one win away from doing this season. They've already beaten last season's points total by winning tonight. They're already 1 point better off than last season, with still 9 points left to play for. The 100-point target is still mathematically possible for both Leeds and Burnley. And both, their main target is a place back in the Premier League next season. Leeds have got it done, and Manor Solomon, the man to score the only goal of the game at the Kassam Stadium. Needs must. Performances are arbitrary at this stage of the season. It's about results, and Leeds United are starting to churn in the results they most desperately need to head back top of the table and head towards the ultimate goal of top flight football returning to Elland Road once again. Final score at the Kassam Stadium to round off Good Friday's action in the Championship. It's finished. Oxford 0, Leeds United 1. There we are. Good Friday done, dusted and wrapped up. It's a great night, a great day it's been. And Leeds United back top. All three of the top three winning on Good Friday. Well, it won't be the case on Easter Monday. It's not possible because two of the top three play each other. Burnley and Sheffield United face off against each other on Easter Monday. An advantage might be in Leeds' favour. They've got the goal difference advantage. They've got the lead. And if they beat Stoke, they would just be one Burnley win away from heading back to the Premier League. That's how it goes. And Daniel Farke's team, they let it slip last season. I don't think they're going to let it slip this season. And there you are. That's it. What a day. Let's round up then what Good Friday's delivered for us. Luton 1-0 winners away at Derby. Blackburn 4-1 against Millwall. A comeback win for Bristol City, who are chasing playoffs against Sunderland, also in a playoff place. Coventry almost fully gripped playoffs with a 2-0 win over West Brom and almost deading West Brom's season. Middlesbrough keep the chase as Plymouth look to fight another day, but 3 games left, they're still rock bottom. Portsmouth all but securing safety in a thriller at Carrow Road. QPR left it late to come back against Preston. Stoke made easy work of Sheffield Wednesday. Swansea got over the line against Hull. And Burnley, against 9-man Watford, came from behind to, at the time, head back top. But before, the 2 teams that were below them, both claiming victories with clean sheets. Sheffield United back to winning ways after 3 successive defeats. And Leeds United, a 3rd successive win for Daniel Farke's side in the Championship. And they end the night and head into Easter weekend top of the the Championship table. The Premier League is where they want to be, and it seems they're just a couple of days, maybe points, away from being there. Thank you very much for joining us. That's it for our Good Friday action. Do join us again on Sunday as Ipswich host Arsenal, followed by Leicester-Liverpool in a Premier League doubleheader that could round off the Premier League title come Sunday. Easter Monday is going to be another blockbuster day as Leeds in action, as well as Burnley, Sheffield United and Tottenham Forest as well. Thanks for joining us. It's been great and we've enjoyed this afternoon and this evening. There should be a compilation of all the goals reactions from all of the games on Good Friday here this afternoon and this evening on the channel very, very shortly. Do keep an eye out for that. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I've enjoyed your company, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Good night.